All right. Getting back into additional thoughts on Wednesdays again after some disruption due to my vacation. So it's kind of nice, in a sense, to be settling back into my old routine. I hope everyone's doing well. Vacation was nice. It was actually great. It was an odd mix of having a lot of fun and very relaxing mixed with like lots of bad news. But, I'm okay. My family's okay. I mean, we're all okay. There were some tough spots. Anyway, there you go. House of Balloons, unlike Mystic Styles, House of Balloons kind of got bonus treatment because, it's a chill album. And so I could listen to it in the car with my family. We were on the road trips and stuff. And I did the recording, I think 5 days or so before I posted it. I can't remember. So I've almost had like 10 days with this album where normally I have, I think 5, right? I'll do the reaction on Friday, additional thoughts on Wednesday. So House of Balloons got a little bit more playtime with me. Just kind of how it worked out. So we'll start with, is this album a 10? Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar with my criteria of a 10 for an album, 3 things. No skips, obviously. Can listen to it at any time, which that criteria right there kind of makes some of the metal albums hard to put in as a 10 because, I'm not necessarily always into a mood for metal, but that's a different discussion. And then the third is, I think, the most important in that when I put the album on, I let it play all the way through. I don't stop it halfway. Like if it's on, it plays through until completion. To me, those are the 3 defining characteristics of a 10 album. And I kind of wondered, House of Balloons, is it a 10 for me? And I thought about it, and almost. Which, in my opinion, is very impressive since this is a debut album for a guy who basically kind of just came out of nowhere from what I understand. Like, some people were telling me about his story a little bit about how, I took a couple notes, like I guess he was like homeless at one point, like his mom had thrown him out of the house or something, and he was hooked on drugs, and then at some point he was working some shitty job, and he was doing the music thing on the side, like trying to get the album going, and it was kind of blowing up, so much so that his co-workers were talking about his music, not knowing that he was the one that made it, which I have no idea if that's true or not. I didn't make any efforts to verify that. But if that is true, that's pretty fucking wild. That's wild. I mean, I can only imagine what that's like. I mean, just this idea of, holy shit, it's taken off so much. Like, I haven't told anybody about it. And the people around me are talking about it. That's pretty wild. This album for me is not quite a 10. It's almost a 10. Almost a 10. I think really the only hiccup for me is, even though I enjoy the track Coming Down, I kind of get a little tired of just the way he does the chorus. And I know this sounds super nitpicky, right? And so for those of you who might be upset that I'm being nitpicky, think of it, and this is more or less a compliment in the sense of this is the biggest problem I have, if that makes sense. Like, it's easy to rag on something when you don't like it and you can just list all these things. This album is like really, really good. Really good. And the fact that it's a debut album, man, well, I'm saying the same thing again. My brain loops. It's kind of a bit of a broken record up in this area here. Really Coming Down, I enjoy the song, with the chorus, okay, whatever. I don't know. Anyway, that song is just fine, while the rest of the songs are great. I love High for This and What You Need, how it's like this slow build into the album. It's patient. It's kind of setting the tone. You just get this dark, kind of grimy, mysterious, what's going on type of feeling. And then House of Balloons, Glass Table Girls, amazing track. I honestly think if that was split in 2, if Glass Table Girls was its own track, that'd probably be my favorite track because I love that beat. It's just kind of like haunting and addictive and, again, like dark and like insidious. Man, there's just something about that beat. It's fucking incredible. Wicked Games, I think, is my favorite track still. Although The Knowing, the closing track, is kind of also almost my favorite track just because I love that chorus. And I like the fact that the album closes on that track. I did listen to 28, which was, I guess, the bonus track on the whatever version. But I did listen to that a couple times. Cool song. I enjoy that song. I'm glad it's not the closer. I feel like that could have been woven into the album actually pretty well. And it would have worked just fine. It being a bonus song, whatever, no big deal. But I like that it closes on the knowing, because there's something about that song and how it kind of wraps up the theme of this album. And there is just this darkness to it. And I don't know, I think in the reaction I said something like sickly sweet. Actually, what it reminds me of, and I forgot to write this down, but I'm glad I'm remembering it now, there's a scene in a movie called American Hustle. And it's Jennifer Lawrence. She's married to Christian Bale. And there's a scene where she meets the mistress. I forget the actress's name right now off the top of my head. And she's like, I know who you are, or whatever. And then, actually, I mixed up the scenes. But there's one part where she's explaining to the mistress why Christian Bale's character will never leave her. Because she's like that fingernail polish that smells sweet, but it's toxic. And you just can't stop smelling it, even though it's toxic. And I don't know, that whole scene, for whatever reason, it kind of existed in a parallel in my mind with how this album feels. There's just this thing. You can't put it down even though you need to. Everything that's going on is bad, but you're just so addicted to it. The way this album executes that idea is like perfect, honestly. So really, why is it not a 10? I think coming down, I kind of lose interest a little bit. And so really what happens is I kind of skip right there. I almost push all the way through with the album, but I do skip. Mostly too because I do enjoy the knowing so much. So I don't know. I don't do numbers on my additional thoughts. I don't like to do that, but high score on this one for sure. Great album. What else do I have for notes? I don't have a lot because I was traveling most of the time. Oh, the ending of Loft Music really, really grew on me. Really grew on me. It started to feel like watching somebody just slowly sink into a bottomless ocean. You can see them, but they're just getting further, more shadowed, more lost in the dark, more swallowed by the sea. Great fucking ending to that song. And I love how, it's almost like 4.5 minutes, that end, how it just drifts and drifts and drifts. It's phenomenal. Love it. What else? I guess that's kind of it. I watched the video for Wicked Games, and it was kind of funny because The Weeknd, with this being his first album, and I get the impression, like, even from that music video where he's standing there and kind of doing his thing, and he's in the shadows a little bit, whatever. But the look on his face almost seems like he can't believe this is happening. Like, he still looks caught off guard, even though he's literally making a music video for the song on his album. There's just something about it, like, compared to some of the images I've seen of him, that are a little bit more recent, where he is in the situation and he is confident and it is real and all this other stuff. That music video, I kind of chuckled watching it because he just has this look on his face. I can't describe it. It was just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I'm actually in a music video right now for my own song. Is this is happening? This is real? Okay. Oh, right. I got to keep lip syncing the song. Oh shit. Right. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, that was that. A lot of people are very excited with the idea of my going in sequential order through the Weeknd's catalog from here on. I am on board with that. That's going to happen. I don't know when the next albums will come through, but I will go in chronological order because this is such a strong debut and it's so rare. Well, to me, it seems rare. I don't know. Maybe I'm just wrong. Maybe that's my own bias or just personal experience or whatever, but when somebody comes out with a debut album that's this strong, man, I always get really excited. Of course, then there's always the threat of the sophomore slump where the second album isn't as good as the first, but, whatever. The idea of the first three being kind of a trilogy is cool, and so I definitely want to do those in order. And then once I do that, I might as well just keep going in order from there. So that's the plan. And I guess that's it. I mean, just fantastic album. Fantastic album. I actually had to stop playing it because I started getting concerned, like, I'm going to burn myself out, you know? And there's so much other music to listen to. So yeah, really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed the weekend. Really enjoyed House of Balloons. The only other song I've heard from the weekend is Blinding Lights, which is obviously a massive song. Really enjoy that one too. So I'm looking forward to going through these albums and yeah, just watching him grow. And maybe it'll work out sometime in the future where, okay, I'm all caught up and then he's got another album coming out. Cool. Awesome. Whatever. We'll see. That's it. Friday, I'm going to go from The Weeknd and House of Balloons into Death Grips Exmilitary. You know, I haven't heard the album. I've obviously heard Money Store. I'm going to assume this is a substantial shift in sound from House of Balloons to Exmilitary. But I am excited. I'm ready to hear some more loud, crazy shit because I just enjoy it. And yeah, I guess that's it. And we'll see you guys Friday.